let's start into our topics here. We're gonna start off tonight with some politics. Democratic Cory Bush slams the 4th of July claims that black people still aren't free. Any thoughts, comments?
I mean, she's right about that. I mean, you're still oppressed. You're still fighting an uphill battle. It made me think about when Rodney was talking about how some people in our community celebrate St. Patrick's Day, where it has nothing to do with us. And, I thought about that the other day. If the country, unofficially or officially got liberated in 1776, we were still in slavery at that point. And so when we were out here keeping me up at night, lighting firecrackers and stuff like that, I'm like, what are we celebrating? We're celebrating the country that was free to keep us oppressed, it seems like. So it seems like a strange irony. So I agree with her. The only problem is if we took away every celebration regarding, looking at how black people are treated, we wouldn't celebrate anything. We're just in a country where we are just always going to be considered those that have been disenfranchised and oppressed. So, but I understand her point. I think her point is well taken. It wasn't lost on me because this year, out of all years, I thought about it while people out there in the streets celebrating. It really wasn't anything for us to celebrate historically.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ronnie.
No, she's just basically saying the 4th of July is about America's freedom. You know what I'm saying? It's not about, which is basically white people's freedom. But they want to celebrate their history, but they don't like when we try to celebrate our history. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I kind of agree with her. I think that we still have a lot of oppression that we have to overcome. And there's got to definitely be a lot of changes that we have to make as far as ourselves, as far as understanding that.
Yeah, I think we can have July 4th and Juneteenth as a people. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, I think that on one level, we have to acknowledge that we do live in this country and we have to acknowledge the history of this country with regard to its independence from England, and then of course, there's the Juneteenth holiday. So I think on one level, I get where she's coming from, but I don't want us to write ourselves out psychologically out of the larger history,
Well, see, yeah. That's why I agree with the sister wholeheartedly on it, because you talking about free-ish, right? That's the thing with it. When you have stuff in it saying all the people wasn't. So 1776 should just be erased itself, because when you say all the people, who are all the people? Who attended the lands? Who built the country? Like, you got to include all the people. So I can't not celebrate 1776 ever and recognize it when you always gonna have to say we the people. It's we. I don't see like I or just this group of people. That's what it was. So I can't rock with it in no way, shape, or form. So that's me. I agree with you.
I think you make a salient point. I mean, I understand that. I mean, now traditionally, we've celebrated it historically. In my family, it was always a big holiday. But I think what happens is we have holidays, just basically because it's part of the fabric of the country. It's just, some people don't even look that far into it. People like, I got a day off, and I'll go out there and celebrate and have a barbecue and a cookout and all that stuff like that because everybody else does it. But for some reason this year I thought about it more than I've ever thought about it.
But I think maybe that's the Juneteenth effect. Yeah, historically tried to simulate, but white folks didn't want it. Yeah, I mean, of course, of course. But I think because of Juneteenth, I think maybe it's caused a reexamination of July 4th in a way that we just haven't looked at in terms of black people. But we have to acknowledge that if there were no July 4th, there would be no Juneteenth. You know what I mean? So you have to, on some level, you still have to acknowledge that that was the day that the Declaration of Independence was signed, and that was the foundation.
But then it's a false. It's built on a lie. I can't celebrate things built on a lie.
But see, here's the thing. You're talking about, you have to separate the sole premise of it versus what it actually did. You know what I mean? What it actually did was, it was the signing of the Declaration of Independence. That's it. That's as far as it goes. For me personally, that's as far as it goes. All right. And it starts with that. That's the genesis. All right. Then, in terms of being independence and all people being free and all the fancy words, all right, whatever. We know that was not true, but you still have to start with the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and everything that comes after that stands on that. I don't want us to start writing ourselves out of American history, saying that part didn't include us. We were here during it, all right. We were here after it. We were here before it. You know what I mean? And we were all part of that part of it. We were involved in that part of the history as well.
But we wasn't.
Well, we fought. No, well, listen.
You can say Christmas Adams was the first person killed. We died and everything for this country. First, we always bled for this country. We the most patriotic people in this country.
Right.
So
without a doubt. Without a doubt. I'm not arguing that.
But it's just like I just can't rock with that whole 70s.
No, and that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, more barbecue for me.
Yeah, I can dig it. I mean, like my man Everett G. fucking Tiger said.
Yeah.
We assimilate, and that's what we did. We all
we do it. Yeah.
But once you got why so what was going on, like I just had to check out from that joint. But moving right along. Oh, you gonna say something, Rob? Oh,
no, I got nothing.
Okay. Moving right on. Was it Kyrsten Sinema who said, "Who the fuck is we?" Thoughts, gentlemen. I like to say fuck. I don't know. Go ahead, thoughts.
Again, and it almost feels redundant though, looking at that, people will do everything they can not to step on other people's toes. And if it means that we just get thrown under the bus or walked on, that's just what it means. And so, I don't know why we never have that type of protection or support, to sit there and say, well, we got to make sure that we don't offend the other side of the aisle and, make sure that we can have a civil discourse between party lines, even if that means, sacrificing, Black people or Black agenda or, Black liberties. There's something grossly wrong with that. But you know what it is? It just feels like we always are casualties. We're dispensable, and usually when it comes to this political football, we usually get caught in between. That's what it is. We're like the first bargaining chip that is so easily dismissed, and so that's what I took away from it. And somewhere along the line, I realized that people treat you the way you allow them to treat you, not the way you deserve to be treated. Mm-hmm. And so we've got to recognize that that's it. At a certain point, you just have to say, you know what, that's it. I'm either going to be independent or I'm going to, pool my own resources and make you respect who I am and what I stand for, versus you just using me as some type of pawn. And that's how it feels like we're always on this board, just so dispensable,
But I want to clarify a little bit, what was her issue? Like she just made a statement in a speech about who are we?
No, she didn't want us to rock the boat. She didn't want us to rock the boat as far as saying that if you want the Republicans, if you want to be able to deal with party lines, we can't sit up here and isolate Black issues singularly because that will tick off one side if you do that. So in order to have a civil discourse, let's not, identify the issues, especially in our community, because if we do that, then obviously if we do that, then that's going to tick them off. So as a starting point, let's kind of act as if we're okay with everything. This way we can make sure we can go forward with the larger agenda because we're never part of the larger conversation. You know what I mean? So all this stuff about that has been happening to Black people or the way we've been disenfranchised or some of the disparities in economics or hiring and things like that. Don't identify those things because if you do, it's going to set off the other side. And that was her point.
Mm. So just basically she wants us to stay quiet.
Go along to get along.
Yeah. So put on your tap dance shoes and just dance the jig.
Exactly. And our tap dance shoes is about worn out now. I mean,
I don't wear taps on my shoes.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's just it's it. I mean, we done carried everybody's water as long as we could, but this is it. And this generation is just not trying to hear it anymore.
Mm.
Well, what's her name? Senator Sinema. I think originally it was about the filibuster, right? Yeah, she didn't want to. She was cautioning us against changing the rules of the filibuster. All right, was good, Damien.
So, Damien,
and then
what up, Lisa? So Lisa out there too.
Okay, yeah, what's up, Lisa? So and the point being, all right, so you have the filibuster is the last ditch defense of the minority party. So, it's just the last way to stall things when everything else is falling apart. So it's a way. So I think she wants to do away with the she's cautioning doing away from filibuster so that, to push so we can push our agenda through, as quote unquote Democrats or whatever. And again, it's more of the same. It's more caution, be careful, let's not do it. Now, that being said, you have to. She's saying also, be careful what you wish for, be careful what you fight for now, that you might regret it later. Because let's say right now, the Democrats are in power, and the next, and Republicans are minority, and then what happens if that switches, later on? I don't know where I'm at with that. I think I understand. I feel as though the filibuster, certain things, personally, maybe we need to be a little bit cautious. Or we have to, or I don't know. I don't know how it's. To me, it seems almost like if we get rid of the filibuster right now, it's almost like we have to push all our chips in right now. You know what I mean? Because we can't leave any doubt later on. Because if we ever fall out of, if the Democrats, I'm not saying we, I'm just putting myself in, because I'm an independent actually, but I'm putting myself in the eye of a moderate Democrat. If they push it through now, they have to go all in, because otherwise, if the Republicans come in later on, it's an issue. So I think that's kind of what I get from it and what I understand about it. I agree that we at some point we have to decide. I think at some point we have to decide that something, we have to find out what's worth fighting for. Maybe now is the time to kind of push things. To kind of push all our chips in and go all in and hope for the best. So I don't know, maybe coming out of COVID, maybe the coming, maybe our economy, with all of that in mind, with all the, issues in mind, maybe we need to do it. I don't know. The whole thing is above me, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna leave something else, something for some of these other guys to talk about, because I'm just following the whole thing and not really understanding everything that's going on. So
I can dig it. Let me move on. I'll move on to Eric Adams. This is big news. He just won the Democratic Party's as mayor to run for mayor for New York against Curtis Sliwa in the November election. Brothers, thoughts?
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, he's going to be the mayor. I believe that truly. I think that there will be some changes made. I'm just going to sit back and watch how he deals with issues in the police department. I think pretty much what I'm kind of predicting is there's going to be a lot of battling with him with the police unions. I definitely see that. Definitely with Patty Lynch and Ed Mullins, the PBA president and the SBA president. Like I said, I was on a job at the time that he was on a job. I didn't know him personally, but I used to work with his brother. And I'm going to have to say, so far from what I know about Eric Adams is a solid dude. You know what I'm saying? But politics sometimes changes people, so we got to wait and see. But I'm kind of happy to see that he's in a position to get the job and go in there and make some changes.
Well, I'll say one thing I'm glad about, and I think it was about a day ago, Cuomo signed some legislation to start trying to get these guns off the street. I think Eric Adams will be hard on crime. I think he is a crime fighter. Also coming from the city, I think he'll be a lot more fair than we've had. We already just upgraded, because I don't know a person who wouldn't be a better mayor than de Blasio right now. I'm just be honest with you. So I think he's going to do better with that. And then also there's $57 million that's just been allocated to the city for jobs for the youth. Remember, young people couldn't work last summer because of the COVID. So they think that has something to do with the city right now. So we need change. I've been saying this. We need somebody brilliant. And if you're not brilliant, then what you do is surround yourself with brilliant people. And that's what the city really needs right now. We just can't go on the way we've been going. New York is just the thing everybody used to say it's expensive to live here, which it is. High taxes, it's true, but you can't have all that and still have high crime. It's just too much. You know what I mean? And so, congratulations to Eric Adams. I'm assuming he's our second black mayor in history behind Dinkins, or he will be. I know I'm putting the cart a little before the horse, but I mean, Democrats outnumber Republicans 9-1 in New York. So, and Curtis Sewell is just, even the Republicans probably not going to back him. I mean, Curtis is just a clown show. I mean,
I want to say I was going to play out. They both are friends. They both talk about both. It's funny how you have two people running about they run on the as crime fighters, right? That's kind of strange. Like one was a street, I don't know what you want to call Curtis Lee, but a guardian angel, and then former police. It's going to be interesting. They both friends, so it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. I don't want to say like you said, Kelvin. Hopefully he'll be the new mayor. We've seen Stranger Things 4 years ago, so I'm just saying.
As far as his education thing about him not knowing much, he may not, but you got to get a good chancellor, a strong chancellor.
Exactly. He don't have to know everything.
Do not get a white male bald with glasses, because that's all we ever had.
We haven't seen any mayor in the last few years run. Say, I want to see somebody challenge, because Lisa and I worked in schools for years. I haven't seen any mayor in the last 22 years I've been there.
Well, the thing is, let's face the fact. Education. No mayor knows everything about every topic, or no politician, period. You know what I'm saying?
Surround yourself.
That's why, correct. It's all about putting the right people in the right positions. You know, if he gets the right guy, as like you said, the school chancellor or whatever, to come in there and turn things around, then things will change. If he doesn't get the right guy that comes in there and just wants to take the job and get a check, then things won't change. You know,
and to be fair, I got to admit, Rod, I didn't want another borough president, but to be fair, he's done a good job with Brooklyn.
Yeah. Like I say, I can't say anything negative about Eric Adams, you know, anything off the top of my head. I'm not saying the guy's perfect or anything like that, but I will tell you, I do think he will be tough on crime. He does have a law enforcement background, and despite what people may think, there are certain neighborhoods that have to be policed a little bit tougher than other neighborhoods, because, and I'm not talking about black and white, it's just that certain areas are crime ridden, because I've worked in them. And the thing is, when you see your own people killing each other like that, you realize that something has to be done. There's too many guns in certain neighborhoods.
Yeah, I'm a Long Island guy. Don't necessarily have, dog in the fight, but in as much as that we do follow New York City politics, because it seems like if whatever happens in New York, if they catch a cold in New York, we catch it out here in Long Island the next week. But I'm hearing a lot of pushback on him with regard to gentrification and almost like redlining or something. Are you hearing any? What do you guys think about that? What are you hearing about that?
Well, that's a lot of. I don't want to mention some of the other politicians I will mention in Brooklyn, but one of them's very tall, and he let his neighborhood go under with gentrification. I mean, the same person didn't even want to put his own child in one of the schools I was working in, and rather send his kid to another school, he would have just put his own child in that school. What kind of publicity he would have bought? What kind of energy behind that? I'm not going to mention this tall politician's name. Very tall. But I'm just saying though, when it comes to that kind of thing, I've been in several rooms with a lot of these guys, and they like Rodney said, when you become a politician, it's a different ball game, man.
It's a different ball game.
Even if you'd use what's the sister name that was running against with the Locks? What's the sister name?
Maya.
Look, Maya was privileged. She had her own police department with her husband. I mean,
and I'm hoping he can use her somewhere, maybe in his administration.
Everybody, all those people have some kind of privilege they use. So I don't know when people say that. Like,
this is anyone politicians don't.
I'm gonna open up something on this thing, not to get off the topic, but I'm gonna release something on this show just to put it out there. I have a strange feeling that when Eric Adams becomes the mayor, I think we're gonna see our first black female police commissioner.
You think so?
I think so.
Explain. Talk to us.
No, that's what I'm leaving out there, and then we'll talk about it if it happens.
Okay.
But I just want to say that you heard it first. You heard it first, so let's chop it up.
I'll say this lastly, Rod, to your earlier point, I found out that 95% of all inmates in New York come from 7 neighborhoods.
You say it again, Kelvin?
No, this is what Lisa said. I'm sorry,
yeah, she's in the politician do cha-cha slide.
Go say it again, Kelvin. Go ahead.
No, 95% of all inmates in New York come from 7 neighborhoods.
Wow.
I'm not gonna name the neighborhoods, but in your mind, you already named them. So
yeah,
Good.
and I remember when there were certain neighborhoods in South Jamaica that pretty much most guns when they came into
I live in
New
it.
York, yeah, you live in it.
I know half
Yeah.
the motherfuckers.
Yeah,
most guns come through. You saying most guns come through Jamaica?
Most guns when they first come into New York, touchdown in South Jamaica.
That's a fact.
And let people know the two major airports in New York are in Queens, both of them.
Yeah.
Well,
the thing is, they're not coming in through the airports. They're coming like people. You got to realize, like
Yeah, but that was the drug
states,
part, though. The drug part they came through the air.
Any port city, any city has a port will have a high drug problem.
Yeah, correct.
Any city with a port.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the thing is that most of the guns, like I said, that come into New York touch down in South Jamaica first. So obviously there's some major dealings with guns in South Jamaica, because the thing is the police department can track guns based on ballistics, whether if it was a shooting in Queens, they could tell if that same gun was used in Brooklyn, if that same gun was used in the Bronx. So basically the guns are constantly moving. They're changing hands. They're going from boroughs to boroughs.
Well, why Jamaica?
You know
why is Jamaica the entry point?
I don't know. I don't know if somebody in Jamaica has a major connection.
That person might be the plug.
Correct. It's maybe somebody in South Jamaica that's the plug. Because the thing is, you got to realize, like, a lot of guns came in from New York. Basically, like, you got Jim Bob that used to do gun shows, and then basically reports a certain amount of guns stolen, and they file those guns, the serial numbers off those guns, and then they basically ship them out to the hood for us to kill each other. Yeah, that's what they do.
See the question by Lisa?
What do you think? What do y'all think of the governor's state of emergency due to gun violence?
Yeah, Cuomo issued that. He issued he issued it today or yesterday?
Yeah, it was like yesterday.
I mean, like I said, there's a lot of shootings now. There's another thing too. The police departments have pulled back. They have pulled back.
I just hope if Eric Adams becomes, we bring back like community policing also, and I hope we bring back some of the other programs that could, like when we had, what's his name back in the day, Green, before he died, when Deakins was the mayor, and had all these evening basketball programs and stuff like that. And they also creating like more jobs and stuff. Like you just said, I think, Rodder, some of youth jobs were missing. Somebody said some of youth jobs were missing.
Kelvin said.
If we get more of those things going on.
But you know what, D, go back to the 90s. So what happened was, back in the day, they came up with midnight basketball. Mm-hmm. And so what they were saying was, and I believe it may have been Mario Cuomo saying that between the hours of 12 midnight and 5 a.m., you had hundreds of thousands of teenagers walking the streets in New York City. So he decided, open up the gyms, open up the beacon schools, and let them play basketball. And that's what they were doing. Then when Pataki took over as governor, he shut all that down. And he's like, I know what to do with them. I'll lock them up. And that's what he did. And that's the difference. So yeah, they did have midnight basketball, and it was effective. You know what I mean? I'll just tell you this quickly before we move on. Many years ago, I decided to just rent a gym on Friday nights for the young men in Queens. And first night I had like 10 kids. Before I know it, I had 50 kids in the gym on Friday night. And I was just letting them have open gym. And I was saying, where would these kids be tonight if we didn't have this gym open? So I think it's definitely crucial to have that.
Yeah, if those programs are run properly, I believe that those are definitely a good look too. I'm not big on open street courts because sometimes you see when and actually me and my wife had this discussion just recently about putting open basketball courts in the streets, because the thing is, lots of times those basketball courts become havens for victims to be shot late at night, because they become hangout points and stuff like that. So the thing is, I'm not big on that. Like you said, if you create a center that's inside where somebody's regulating it, somebody sets some standards to it, you come in here, you act up, you're out of here, then yeah, I'm all for that. But like open basketball courts in the hood, in the street, no. Because if you look at the statistics on those courts, I'm telling you right now, if you had that court there for 10 years and you did the statistics on how many people made the pros from that court and how many people got shot on that court, it ain't gonna be no match.
Well, once they bring nutcrackers outside, the game is over. But anyway, let's move on. We've been on the topic for a long time. Haitian president assassinated and first lady shot at home in Haiti. Jovenel Moise, am I saying it right? don't have a Creole tongue. Am I saying it right?
Moise.
Brother, for what I understand from my Haitian master I was talking to today, he was a piece of shit. So I'm not sure if America appointed him, and then I'm not sure. I'm just going to allegedly what I'm hearing in the streets. So,
well, supposedly they assassinated him in his house, correct?
Correct. You know, that was a setup. That was somebody lined him up.
Yeah, they lined him up. They lined him up, and they said that the guys that came in and did the hit were supposedly speaking Spanish. So, you know, that could just be hearsay, or basically they were speaking Spanish to throw the people off to think that they were Spanish and they actually were somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So when people do hits, they always do things that throw you off from who really did it. You know,
well, let me
pro hits.
I really don't know as much about it. So what I do is I defer to the people that are Haitian that I know. Mm-hmm. And they pretty much landed on the side of what D just said. They seem to have felt that the man was very, very corrupt, mm-hmm. very cruel. Again, I'm just taking this, from what they're saying. I don't know as far as Haitian politics are concerned, but from what I've been hearing from Haitian people that I know, they seem to say that this is, and I don't think they were using the word justified. I just think they're not surprised by it. And they thought that the guy was really, really somebody that was not good for that country.
Mm. Somebody just said to me today, interesting observation, said that there's no rioting or unrest or protests after him dying. So you don't normally. So to me, that tells me that he didn't have the support of the people. And apparently there was some sort of video originally saying that they were DEA agents, like the hitmen were originally identifying themselves as DEA agents, and there was some sort of operation going on. But since then, I guess the ambassador has said that he thinks that they're mercenaries and it's a professional job. So my Haitian friend said the same should have been going a long time ago. Okay, so we're hearing a lot about that now.
And a lot of Haitians do speak Spanish.
Yeah. But like I said, that could be making you think that it was Haiti people and it could have been somewhere else. I'm just not trying to speculate anything, but I'm just saying that they do certain things to throw people off. Because technically, you come in here to do a hit, you ain't supposed to say nothing. You're just supposed to just do it.
Yeah. Maybe they're trying to Maybe they're trying to communicate. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe the security. Maybe the security is saying they spoke Spanish because the security's getting paid off too.
Correct.
There's a lot of shit with that.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of angles you can look at it. But supposedly they shot his wife too. I don't know if his wife is deceased or not, but I heard the wife was shot too.
Now apparently he was supposed to step down in February, is what I'm hearing, and he was trying to basically consolidate power, and I think he was not complying. I'm not really sure.
I think he was on some Black Trump shit.
Yes, so maybe that was it. I think maybe they shut him down for that. But I'll leave that to my Haitian friends. They know better than I do.
Speaking of Donald Trump, he says Herschel Walker will run for Georgia Senate seat in 2022. That damn wild animal. I ain't gonna say. You know what I'm gonna call him. It starts with a C.
The nocturnal
beast he is.
Well, the thing is, me, I always say when Trump gets people to do something or he wants people in a certain place, it's because he has something on them. You remember Herschel Walker used to play for Trump when he owned the New Jersey Generals. I think it was what was that league?
USFL.
USFL. Yeah. Trump used to own the New Jersey Generals, and then Herschel Walker played for him for I think 1 or 2 seasons. Then it went out of the league, or whatever. So I don't know. Maybe Herschel was hanging around with Trump. Trump got him or something. I don't know. And make him do because he be too far up Trump's ass for me.
Oh yeah.
Me the same.
Yeah, Herschel. He was on The Apprentice, man, and I have to admit, I lost a lot of respect for Herschel Walker, and
a lot of Black people did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not lost respect for him. I respect the fact that people have different, positions, but I mean, man, for you to act as if everybody that's been oppressed is just because they don't want to work hard and things like that. I mean, come on, man. I mean, Herschel, you got to do better than that, really.
Yeah.
And then got the nerve to be all country sounding and stuff like that. And I'm saying the funny thing is, how they look at you. That's what makes me.
Absolutely.
Correct. Yeah. And let's be honest. If Herschel Walker couldn't play football, where would Herschel Walker be?
He's just $1 million nigga.
You don't know where he would be. He probably could be a janitor somewhere.
That's what he look at. Read the book $1 Million Nigga. That's him.
He was gifted with a talent.
He said he looked like a dark-skinned Silver Surfer.
Look at David's an asshole.
It's just it kills me when I hear people talk about the pull up the bootstraps theory.
I hate that.
Yeah, I hate that.
People don't have boots.
Yeah, they don't have no, and the thing is, when the slaves were set free, they wasn't given no boots. Well, you had to pull up.
Word up, facts.